Welcome to EmpowerFuse with your host, Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin. EmpowerFuse is a show of empowering messages with a focus on encouraging self-confidence, resilience, and a positive mindset. Certified life coach and 6-phase meditation trainer, Dr. Carolyn Rubin, will unleash inspiration together while igniting motivation and creativity. Dr. Rubin will discuss many topics such as healthcare, leadership, life, growth, and we'll add in some laughter too. So please welcome the host of EmpowerFuse, Dr. Carolyn Rubin.
Good morning, friends. I am honored to be with you today. Whether you are tuning in for the first time or you've been walking this journey with me, I want to say welcome. This space is for you, for your growth, your strength, your transformation. Let me start with a question, and this one may make you stop and think. When was the last time you really played? Not scrolled. Not multitasked. Not checked off another box. I'm talking about really play. The kind that makes you laugh so hard your cheeks hurt. The kind that makes you lose track of time. The kind that doesn't need a reason other than joy. Take a moment. Can you remember? Welcome to EmpowerFuse, unleashing inspiration together. This isn't just a show. It's an experience. I am your host, Carolyn Rubin. To get the most out of it, I encourage you to keep an EmpowerFuse journal. Use it to capture your insights, the breakthroughs you feel, and the action steps you commit to each week. Over time, this will become a living record of your growth and transformation. Today's message: the power of play. In this episode, we're diving into why it's not childish, but powerful. See, play restores joy, sparks creativity, and strengthens resilience. It's not optional for leaders, parents, or professionals who want to thrive. It's essential. So today, we're going to explore why play is vital to your well-being as sleep and nutrition. How neuroscience proves play fuels creativity, innovation, and resilience. Stories of play transforming burnout, workplace stress, and leadership presence. Practical tools to reintroduce play into your daily rhythm, even if you're busy. And I'm going to take you on a guided reflection with your 8-year-old self and what they'd invite you to rediscover, and how to integrate play into your culture so your team feels more connected, creative, and alive. I'll share stories of how lightheartedness, laughter, and creativity have shaped my journey and the journey of those I've mentored and led. If you're watching live, I want you to drop in the chat right now. What's the last playful thing that you did just for fun? It could be a game, a silly moment with your kids, or maybe dancing in your kitchen. For some of you, an answer may come easy. For others, there might be silence. And that silence says something. Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, a lot of us stopped playing. We traded play for productivity. We told ourselves being serious was the grown-up thing to do. We measured our worth in output, not laughter. But let me tell you the truth that I've discovered in my own life and in decades of leadership. Play is not childish. Play is powerful. Play restores joy, sparks creativity, and reconnects us to ourselves and to each other. Just like the pause. Play isn't optional. It's essential. And by the end of this episode, I want you to feel lighter, freer, and ready to bring more laughter and creativity into your leadership and your life. So grab a notebook if you can, because I want you to write this down. When I hear the word play, what memory or emotion comes up first? When I hear the word play, what memory or emotion comes up first? Is it joy? Freedom? Stillness? Or maybe even guilt, like you're wasting time? Write whatever comes up. No editing, just the truth. When I hear the word play, what memory or emotion comes up first? We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about why play matters.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse, unleashing inspiration together. Let's start with the why. Why does play matter so much? Dr. Stuart Brown, who's a founder of the National Institute for Play, has studied this for decades. He says play is as essential to our well-being as sleep and nutrition. Think about it. We plan our meals. We protect our sleep. Well, we try to protect our sleep. But play, oh, it's like extra. But neuroscience tells us otherwise. When we play, our stress hormones drop. Creativity spikes, and our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that's responsible for problem solving and innovation, it lights up like a fireworks show. Play literally rewires our brain for resilience. But here's the problem. Gallup reports that stress in the workplace is at an all-time high, while creativity is at an all-time low. People are exhausted. Teams are burned out. And leaders, they're drained. Why? Because we've convinced ourselves that busyness equals value. That the more serious we look, the more respect we'll get. But here's the leadership truth. When leaders lose play, they lose possibility. When teams stop playing, they stop imagining. And when imagination dies, innovation follows. Now, let's make this practical. Right here, right now, where you are, I want you to try something for me. Smile. Yes, right now. I want you to smile, and I want you to hold it for 5 seconds. Are you ready? Smile. Feels silly, right? But here's the science. Even a forced smile releases endorphins. That's play at the smallest level. A 2-second shift in your body chemistry. And you can feel it. Now, let me paint a picture for you. Think about a child on a swing, pumping their legs, leaning back, hair flying in the wind, and they're squealing with laughter. They're having the time of their life. There's no point to it, and there's no productivity report at the end. But in that moment, joy and imagination are very much alive. Adults need swings too, not literal ones. Although, if you want to try the park, I highly recommend it. There's nothing better than to take a swing. On a swing. But swings of the soul is important for adults. Spaces where joy doesn't need a reason. Spaces that remind us we are more than machines. Because here's the danger. Without play, leaders become rigid. Cultures become brittle, and we forget how to dream. I want you to write this down in your journal. What role did play have in your childhood? When did I stop prioritizing it And how has that shaped the way I lead today? Again, what role did play have in my childhood? When did I stop prioritizing it? And how has that shaped the way I lead today? If you're watching live, I'd love for you to drop this in the chat. What was your favorite childhood game? Was it hopscotch, tag, hide and seek, maybe jump rope? I'll show my age. It was Red Rover. But go ahead and share. Let's bring some of that memory back into the room together. What was your favorite childhood game? Now, stories of play can restore power. Now that we know why play matters, I want to take you deeper with some real stories. Because theory is good, but stories, they stick. There was a season in my career where I was running on fumes. I was saying yes to everything, showing up for everyone, and measuring my worth in how much I could handle. From the outside, I looked fine, but from the inside, I was burned out. One evening, I came home late from work, and my family wanted me to come over and play a game. What do you think my first response was? I said, no, I don't have time. I have emails. I have work tomorrow. I'm sorry, but I just don't have time. Well, they pulled me in anyway, and reluctantly I joined. And within 5 minutes, I was acting silly. I was playing games. We were having fun, and I was laughing so hard I had tears rolling down my face. In that moment, something cracked. The weight I'd been carrying was lifted, not completely, but enough. The next morning, I walked into the office and I was lighter than air. And my team noticed this. Now, they didn't know I was up playing games all night, but what they felt was a shift in my presence. That silly night wasn't wasted time. It was healing. It was restoration. And it taught me this: play doesn't take away from leadership, it fuels it. So I want you to write this down. Where in my life do I resist play because I think it's a waste of time? What might change if I leaned in instead? And if you're live, type this in the chat. The last time I laughed until I cried was, and share your memory. We're going to go to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Let me lead in with a couple of other stories. So I once worked with a group of nurses, and they were drowning in stress due to long hours and overwhelming patient loads. The break room was quiet, heavy, people just staring at their coffee cups, exhausted. You could feel the weight in the air. Then a new manager came in and tried something radical. She introduced 5-minute play breaks. Now everyone in the room thought she'd lost her mind. Play? At a hospital with a patient load that is overwhelming? We don't have time for that. But she kept it simple with a trivia ball or trivia questions or just a whiteboard that people could doodle on. And slowly she noticed that the atmosphere shifted. Laughter crept back into the unit. And nurses reported feeling more energy. And surprising part, patient satisfaction scores started to rise. Play didn't erase the challenges, but it changed the culture. And when caregivers feel lighter, patients feel safer. So in your journal, I want you to write this. Where is there heaviness in my workplace or at home? What would happen if I introduced even a small spark of play there? And if you're live, drop one word in the chat. How does laughter feel in your body? Free? Relaxed? Alive? Then there's the CEO. Driven. He's respected but intimidating. He's admired and feared. So one day, they asked him a question. What do you do for fun? And there was silence. And he said, honestly, nothing. So starting out small, we started asking questions, what he loved to do as a child. And he responded that he loved to draw. So we challenged him to take 10 minutes each morning before emails are starting today and doodle. Just 10 minutes and draw what you want. Within weeks, we saw changes in our CEO. He showed up to meetings more creative, more approachable, and the team said it feels like he's human again. See, play doesn't weaken his authority, it expanded his capacity. It made him not just respected, but relatable. So write this down in your journal. What did I love doing as a child that I've abandoned as an adult? What would it look like to reintroduce a piece of that into my life now? Again, what did I love doing as a child that I've abandoned as an adult? And what would it look like to reintroduce that into my life now? If you're live, I want you to drop in the chat. As a kid, I loved to, and finish the sentence. Let's see how many different answers we can gather. And leaders, listen closely. People don't follow you because you're always serious. They follow you because you're real, because you're alive, because they can see themselves in you. Play doesn't erode your credibility. It enhances it. Now I want to take a little bit of time and talk about tools and practices for play. We've talked about why play matters, and we've seen how it shows up in real life. But now comes the question, how do you bring play into your everyday, especially when life feels too full or too serious? I want to give you 5 practices, and as I share each one, I invite you not just to listen, but to try them, to feel them, because play is not a theory. Play is practice. So let's talk about micro play moments. Start small. See, you don't need a weekend retreat or a giant block of time. Play can be 5 minutes. Right now. Let's do this. If you're at a desk, at a counter, standing somewhere, or sitting in your car but not driving, I want you to grab a pen. And I want you to draw a silly doodle. Scribble a star, a smiley face, or maybe it's just squiggles on a page. But I want you to draw. Now, that's play. Do you feel just a little release? It's tiny, but it shifts something. And if you're live, I want you to share in the chat. What did you doodle? What did you draw? Playful reframes is the second one. When you face a tough challenge, instead of saying, how do I fix this? Ask, if this were a game, how would I play it? Think about it. Games have rules, risks, and rewards. But they also have creativity, strategy, and often laughter. By reframing, you shift from pressure to possibility. So journal this. What's one challenge I'm facing right now? If it were a game, how would I play it differently? What's one challenge that I'm facing right now? And if it were a game, how would I play it differently? And let's talk number 3, which is team play rituals. And leaders, this is one of my favorites. Bring play into your culture. Start meetings with a fun question. If you could have any superpower today, what would it be? Or maybe, what was your favorite childhood snack? And if you're live, please put in the chat, what was your favorite childhood snack? See, it takes 2 minutes and can open people up, and suddenly the room feels lighter, safer, and ideas flow more freely. So what was your favorite childhood snack? Was it fruit roll-ups, goldfish crackers, or maybe even popsicles? And I also want you to know about permission slips. This is number 4. Sometimes we adults need permission to lighten up. I want you to write this down. And I mean physically write it down. So grab that pen and take note. Today, I give myself permission to laugh. Make sure you're writing it down. Today, I give myself permission to laugh. And I want you to tape it on your laptop or put it on your bathroom mirror. When the day feels heavy, glance at it. It's amazing how powerful a tiny permission slip can be. So today, I give myself permission to laugh. And journal this. What permission do I need to give myself around play? Maybe it's permission to be silly, permission to rest, permission to not be productive every second. And number 5, joy anchors. This one is about rhythm. Anchor joy into your routines. Maybe you play your favorite upbeat song. Maybe it's before a big meeting or a big event. Maybe you walk outside for lunch. And maybe you have a quick round of trivia with your family at dinner. Joy anchors create consistency. They remind you daily that play belongs here. If you're live, I want you to share in the chat what one joy anchor you'd love to add to your week. What one joy anchor would you love to add to your week? I'm going to take you on a guided activity. It's something very powerful, and I want to reintroduce yourself to your 8-year-old self. So close your eyes if you can. Picture yourself at 8 years old. See your little self. Maybe you have messy hair. Maybe it's grass-stained jeans. Or you have your favorite toy in your hand. Now, watch them play. What are they doing? Riding a bike? Pretending to be a superhero? Drawing? Or singing at the top of their lungs? Now, I want you to walk up to that child And imagine they look at you with wide, expectant eyes and say, "Come play with me." What would you do? Now I want you to open your eyes and I want you to write this down. My 8-year-old self would invite me to, and fill in the blank. And if you're watching live, drop in the chat, "Let's fill the room with childlike joy." Why does this matter? Because leadership without play is like a seesaw stuck in the ground. It doesn't matter how strong you are. Without lift, there's no movement. There's no joy. We're going to take our last commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about integrating play and leadership and culture.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back to EmpowerFuse. Today we're talking about play. And we've talked a lot about personal play. But now let's talk about cultural play. Because play doesn't just change you, it changes the spaces you lead. I worked with a healthcare executive who created something called the play wall. Now, it was simple. It was just a corner in the staff lounge, but there were puzzles, coloring pages, funny memes, even a giant whiteboard for doodles. At first, people thought they were nuts. They rolled their eyes and, "We don't have time for this," and they thought they were too professional to sit down. But then slowly, the staff started gathering around, and someone created a joke of the day. And someone drew cartoons. People who had been walking around with their shoulders up to their ears finally relaxed and finally took time to join in for 5 minutes, laughing with coworkers and returning to the floor with a little lighter attitude. You see, engagement will rise when people feel a little lighter, not as stressed. Morale will lift and turnover will go down. See, when leaders model play, they don't weaken authority, they strengthen connection. They say, "You matter not just for what you produce, but for who you are." Remember that. You matter not just for what you produce, but for who you are. So I want you to journal this. Where is laughter missing in my team, workplace, or family? What's one small practice I can introduce this week that will spark it again? And if you're live, drop a word in the chat that describes how you feel when you laugh. Alive, relaxed, energized, maybe even free. So wherever you are, I want you to take 10 seconds and think of the funniest moment you've experienced this month. Replay it in your mind. Feel yourself smile, because that's fuel. 10 seconds, that's all it takes. And think of the funniest moment you've experienced this month. And for my emerging leaders, don't wait for a title to bring play. You don't need permission. Play isn't a perk, it's a posture. So when you walk into the room with a spark of joy, you give everyone permission to do the same. As we close today, I want you to remember this. Play is not the opposite of work. Play is the companion of meaningful work. When you play, you restore creativity. When you laugh, you heal connection. And when you follow yourself and allow yourself to be lighthearted, you make space for resilience. So this week, I want you to choose one playful activity. Just one. And I want you to do it wholeheartedly. Maybe it's jumping on the trampoline with your kids. Maybe it's doodling before work. Maybe it's dusting off your guitar in the corner. Whatever it is, do it. And notice how it shifts your energy, your relationships, and your leadership presence. And your final journal for today, what would it look like for me to lead with joy as much as I lead with strategy? Last question for today. What would it look like for me to lead with joy as much as I lead with strategy? And if you're live, I'd love for you to share one word in the chat. What are you taking away from today's conversation? If this episode inspired you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive more episodes of EmpowerFuse. But more importantly, if this moved you, please share it with others that could use to put play back in their life. And don't forget to share what's one playful activity you will try this week. Thank you for joining me on EmpowerFuse. And remember, the spark of joy inside you is not frivolous. It is powerful. And when you give yourself permission to play, you give others permission to rediscover their joy too. Until next time, stay blessed. Have a fabulous weekend with your family, friends, and loved ones. And God bless you all. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. I will see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.
This has been EmpowerFuse with your host, Dr. Carolyn M. Rubin. Join us each week as Carolyn brings individuals together to share ideas, to collectively support each other, and to spark inspiration. Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern.